Joining with more on the alleged details of the JCPOA, nuclear emergency management expert and chair of the World Nuclear Forum 193, Colonel and Dr. Ori Nissim Levy. Colonel, thank you so much for being with us. So, assuming that this really is the draft, what do you think? Will it actually work as intended, or does it have too many gaps that can be exploited?
Okay, first of all, thank you, Aaron, for hosting me. If you recall, I think about 6 or 7 months ago, we spoke in here in the same situation, and I said this is my opinion, or the forum's opinion, that this agreement will not be signed. And then after a few weeks, it looks like we're really mistaken, and it was almost signed. But we hear like 7 or 8 months after that, and it was not signed yet. Now, this agreement has two main big issues from the side of Israel. Of course, I'm talking one of them, and the world is know it. One of them is that a lot of a big sum of money would go into terror. This is the first one. And second of all, if this agreement were to be signed, then Israel would be more limited to operate. So those are the two main issues that I see at the moment.
Why would Israel be limited? Why would Israel be limited?
Because if there's no agreement, then someone has to be the bad guy or to do something in order to stop Iran. But if there's agreement, which means the P5+1, which is the biggest countries, and they are signed agreements. So if we interfere, we have a problem to operate as opposed to right now, for example.
Well, so when Lapid and other Israeli officials say that Israel is not a signatory to the deal, we're not beholden to the deal, and even if it is signed, Israel will do whatever is necessary to defend itself against Iran. Is that just rhetoric?
No, I don't think it's rhetoric. I think today also the political situation in Israel is a little different. And I think that I'm talking for the public point of view. We all understand that Israel is more, I don't know how to say it, but more actively prepared or getting ready for this item. Of course, the information can be, some part of information on purpose and some it's real, but I think the situation today is different. And Israel has to prepare the ground in order for, to get the legitimacy to do something and not forget about the deal that we had. We have many years ago, not we, but the world had agreement with North Korea. It was very short. It was four-page long. And then we have the 215, the agreement with the states. And it was 159 pages and was more complete. But as I said before, the main problem is money for terror. And the situation today is different. Iran is much closer to nuclear. Some say they have a nuclear bomb already.
All right, well, so, and again, if we look back at some of the tenets of this deal, some say that it leaves too much in Iran's hands to begin with. For example, if Tehran is supposed to shut off advanced centrifuges under this deal, but they're not required to dismantle or disassemble or decommission them altogether. So at the moment that the sunset clause kicks in, all of those centrifuges are back in play, no?
That's true. In the meantime, they work. They didn't wait. They talk, and this is part of the negotiation items in order to keep on doing what they're doing. And I'm sure, and we know it for fact, the IAEA and Mr. Grossi have said that a few times, they've gone a long way ahead.
All right, well, Prime Minister Lapid says that Israel's efforts led to the United States actually holding firm on a number of key issues with the deal. Netanyahu, meantime, is saying that the coalition's efforts were too lax and too late. How much did or could Israel, or any other country outside the P5+1 for that matter, influence the deal?
I don't think we can influence too much because the world wants to sign this deal. We all understand the problem, and the United States is not afraid as Israel or the Middle East. Some Arab countries like Saudi Arabia, the Emirates, and they are also concerned with the deal. But the United States is not. They don't have a problem in the size of the problem with Israel or some other country in the world. So I don't think we can influence a lot, even though it's very difficult to sign. It looks like, I don't know how to say it, but Iran's hand is on the top, and probably this deal will be signed, and it's not good for Israel and for the region itself.
All right, so, moving to the United Nations now, the United States is blasting Russia for cynically blocking a non-proliferation text that is brought up every 5 or so years because of perceived political language in the text. what will the fallout of this text not passing be?
First of all, China and Russia and the United States all have a different interest in this deal. The United States wants to stop. China wants Iran to go on. Russia wants to go on, as opposed to what happened in Ukraine. So the political situation all over the world is not in the favor of Israel, and we have a big player like like China and Russia. So they all have different interests in this situation.
Between this non-proliferation text being struck down and Iran inching closer to a bomb, and also, of course, all the events in Ukraine around the nuclear plant that Russia has captured that is now at risk, do you expect a nuclear arms race to erupt?
I think the arms race had already begun a few years ago. We see countries in the Middle East that Israel was under the radar, we can call it. But now with Iran, everybody wants to get a nuclear. This is the main problem of the Middle East, that some less responsible countries, even though I'm an Israeli, so I would like to say good things about Israel, but I think that the majority of the countries of the world would agree that Israel is more, responsible country, and we have, less smaller organization and countries that can be less reasonable, rational. All countries are rational.
All right, Colonel Dr. Ori Nissim Levy, thank you so much again for joining us.
Thank you, Aaron.